Good morning. Welcome to today's budget hearing on the proposed 2025-26 city trial budget. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our interpreter, Mario Barajas, for today's hearing. Mario?
Thank you. Thank you, Inger. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mario Barajas. I'm going to be serving as today's interpreter, Spanish interpreter, along with my colleague, Elsie Duarte. I'm going to introduce ourselves to our Spanish audience and then give a couple of instructions on how to get their headsets. Muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Mario Barajas. Voy a estar sirviendo como intérprete a los de habla hispana el día de hoy. Junto con mi colega, Elsie Duarte, vamos a estar sirviéndoles. Primeramente queremos decirles de que si acaso van a necesitar el servicio de intérprete, pueden acudir acá con mi colega Elsie para recoger los auriculares para poder escuchar la interpretación hacia el español. Segundo, queremos informarles si es que van a dar un comentario público, no es necesario hacer pausas, simplemente puede usar sus 2 minutos completos para hacer su comentario sin hacer pausas. Después, el intérprete les va a estar interpretando. Muchas gracias. Thank you, Inger.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Mario. We have a couple of special guests with us today. Mayor Gallego will give some opening remarks, and then she'll turn it over to the councilman.
Thank you. Good morning. Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, thank you for joining us for our 10th city budget hearing. We have one in each District 6, so it's a pleasure to be with Councilman Robinson. Thank you to the team at Devonshire for hosting us today, and thank you to all of the city employees who are here to help answer questions and get input from the community. The budget is arguably the most important vote we take each year, and the process is really important to make sure we are achieving our residents' goal. For residents who are unable to attend in person, they are welcome to participate with comments online or reach out to elected officials to offer their feedback. We are hoping for a budget that meets our community's need. Last year, we were able to pass a unanimous budget, which was the first time in 15 years. We are looking forward to your participation and your priorities, and I'll turn it to Councilman Robinson.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to Council District 6. And like the Mayor said, thank you very much to the folks here at Devonshire. Really appreciate them giving us the opportunity to use their facility. And thank each and every one of you for being here this morning. Citizens that I see and city staff and others that are interested in our budget, we really appreciate it. And as the Mayor stated, this is probably one of the single most important things I think we do in the council, and that is to listen to you, the citizens, you, the interested members in our community who care about our city, who care about our budget. And as we listen to you, it allows us the opportunity as we move forward to make those decisions to come up with a budget. And like the Mayor said, you know, last year was the first time in a very long time we had a unanimous vote on the budget, and we hope the same thing happens again this year, but we don't get there unless we have your input. So again, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate you being here. And at this point, I think I will turn it back over to Assistant City Manager Inger Erickson.
Thank you, Councilman. So the feedback we received today is important to the city as we finalize the proposed budget. We want your input to be heard and considered before the budget is presented to the City Council. The proposed budget will be presented to the City Council on May 6th and voted on May 21st. Information of the proposed budget is available in the tabloid that can be found at the table. It's also available in English and Spanish. Please visit our website also if you'd like more information at phoenix.gov/budget. If you wish to speak today, please fill out the comment card. If you wish to leave a comment but not speak, just fill out the comment card and select no to speak. We will see a video right now on the proposed trial budget, and then immediately following the video, we will take to the speaker's comments, and you'll come to the front here and give your comments at the front. So with that, we'll watch the video. Thank you.
The city of Phoenix thrives because of the services we all rely on, from keeping our neighborhoods safe to offering enriching programs and maintaining vital infrastructure. And like any well-run household, planning for the future starts with the budget. Right now, the City of Phoenix is developing its budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026, a roadmap of how we'll allocate resources to best serve our community. This isn't a process that happens overnight. Throughout the year, city departments work hard to estimate the costs of maintaining the services we currently enjoy. Then in March, the city manager proposes a preliminary budget, a trial budget, that carefully balances estimated resources with projected expenses. This important document is now ready for everyone to look at. Your voice matters. In April, the city actively seeks your input through community budget hearings, by phone, email, and even on social media. This feedback is crucial to ensuring the budget reflects the priorities of our residents and the City Council. Then in May, the City Council will carefully consider all this input before voting on the budget, with legal adoption scheduled in June. Finally, the property tax levy ordinance will be adopted in early July. To understand the budget, it's helpful to know how it's structured. Think of it as three main accounts. The general fund is like our main checking account. It supports many of the core services you see every day: our libraries, parks, senior and youth programs, and critical police and fire services. This fund is made up of revenue from things like general sales tax, property taxes, and a portion of state income, sales, and vehicle taxes, as well as some fines and fees. Then there are enterprise funds. These operate more like businesses, charging those who directly use their services. This includes departments like Water Services, Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, and Solid Waste. Finally, special revenue funds are like accounts with specific instructions. These funds are earmarked for particular purposes, often coming from grants or voter-approved sales taxes dedicated to things like parks and preserves, transportation, and public safety. Now let's talk about the current budget situation. Like many cities, Phoenix is facing some financial headwinds. Over the next few years, we're looking at potential structural deficits, primarily due to actions taken at the state level and rising costs. Recently, the state eliminated the ability for cities to collect residential rental sales tax, and they also lowered the individual income tax rate. These changes mean less ongoing revenue coming into the city. But this is where careful planning and proactive measures come in. Our city staff and leadership have been working diligently to find solutions to ensure we maintain a balanced budget as required by state law, and to ensure the city can continue to deliver to residents existing services without cutting programs or filled jobs to balance the budget. To make sure the budget can stay balanced, offset the losses from state actions to reduce our revenues, provide the necessary resources to protect current programs, and provide the funds necessary for critical adds to the budget, several strategies are included in this trial budget. The City Council voted on March 18th to increase the transaction privilege tax rate from 2.3% to 2.8% effective July 1st, 2025. This will generate revenue to pay for programs and services. Reprioritize the current general fund budget to reduce expenditures without impacting service delivery or filled jobs, and provide capacity to add higher priority items. Set aside projected resources to help balance future budgets and protect against any economic slowdown or further impacts from the state to limit local control and further reduce our revenues. Use excise tax proceeds to finance large public safety capital and infrastructure projects, including 2 new fire stations and additional apparatus. Now let's talk about what this budget means for some key services. For the Phoenix Fire Department, there's a proposal for additional funding to reduce emergency response times. This includes hiring more firefighters to staff existing and new fire stations and new apparatus. Addressing homelessness remains a critical priority. The proposed budget includes revised estimates of $4.5 million in general fund resources for the Office of Homeless Solutions in 2025-26. This funding is needed because some of the federal pandemic-era funding is ending. This money will help continue shelter operations at places like Rio Fresco, the Phoenix Navigation Center, and the Washington Shelter, as well as support heat relief efforts for our unsheltered neighbors. Looking ahead, the budget also proposes a $5.6 million addition to the non-general fund budget for the Water Services Department. This would fund the reopening of the Cave Creek Water Reclamation Plant, allowing the city to expand its capacity for wastewater treatment and water purification, ensuring we can meet future needs. These are thoughtful strategies aimed at addressing the financial challenges while protecting the vital services that make Phoenix a great place to live, work, and visit. Our city employees, from our dedicated first responders to the professionals managing our parks and libraries, are deeply committed to serving this community and always have your best interests at heart. They work hard every day to ensure Phoenix remains a vibrant and thriving city. We understand that discussing budget figures can sometimes feel overwhelming. But know that the City of Phoenix has a long history of responsible budgeting. By engaging in this process together, with your input and the careful work of city professionals, we are confident that we will continue to deliver the essential services you expect and deserve, building a stronger Phoenix for tomorrow.
All right, thank you. We will have speaker cards now, and it'll be 2 minutes. There's a timer here to watch if you want to watch your timer. This is also being videotaped on YouTube, and so we'll have you come to the speaker up here. We also have, for those of you who might need Spanish interpretation, there are interpreters available and their headsets in the back. The first person is Margot Champagne, and if you'll come here, the second person on deck is Alex Rangel.
When I read that the budget proposal included a cut of $250,000 to the public libraries, I was astonished. But then, at the same time, when I heard that my tax dollars were being considered to refurbish a local sports venue, I became angry. What does it say about a community that wants to cut its library budget? My local branch can't even be open 3 hours on Sunday, when moms and dads have the best opportunity to bring in their children. I realize there are competing interests for our tax dollars. I see that the firefighters are represented, and they're the best. What we pay them is shameful. But to cut the library budget, I have visited libraries around the world, and what they have to offer is astonishing, especially for children. And when I compare it to Phoenix, I'm ashamed. What does it say about our city council that they would propose something like this? I appeal to the mayor, whose educational background is impressive and who I suspect agrees to everything I'm saying. I appeal to you, Mayor Gallego, to please do everything you can to prevent any budget cut in the public libraries. Thank you.
After Alex, there will be Scott. No last name, Scott. But Alex Rangel, you're on deck. And Scott would be the next person.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Rangel. I'm a citizen. I live in District 6 between fire stations 13 and 14. I also still consider myself lucky. I had the opportunity to serve the citizens of Phoenix as a firefighter. I retired. I just served 31 years. I retired 8 years ago as a fire captain. I'm still lucky enough. I'm blessed to teach nationally firefighters terrorism and hazardous materials. I want to commend you all, Mayor Gallego, the council, for voting to support your firefighters March 18th. That's a difficult decision, but you showed courage and leadership in doing so. I want to applaud you for that. And I also want to understand that the public to support that insofar as you have vision in light of a 9-minute response time. So when I started the fire department in the academy in 1987, we had a 4 minutes and 20-second response time. It's a long time ago, but it was always do better, be more efficient. Today, when I retired at 31 years later, it was 5 minutes and 40. I thought that was absurd. And now we're at a 9-minute response time. If you balance that out, folks, to a 9-minute response time, to your child drowning, or you're at dinner with your family members, someone goes into sudden cardiac arrest, or your house is on fire, a fire burns in phase, doubles in size every minute and a half. So, versus that in the scale, it just doesn't work, and I applaud you for recognizing that. Also, if I were to poll this room, I would say that the majority of you have had to use the services of the Phoenix Fire Department if you're a citizen or your family member. I know I have with my mother, my dad, God rest his soul, and my daughter when she was in an accident, okay? These services are needed, but in light of a 9-minute response time, that took courage to do so. I'm kind of a, oh, I ran out of time. Thank you, and God bless you all.
After Scott, Ginny Ann Sumner.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here. My name is Scott. I've dedicated 27 years to public service as a firefighter paramedic. I currently work for the Phoenix Fire Department. Thank you to the city manager, Jeff Barton, Councilman Kevin Robinson, Mayor Gallego, and the entirety of the Phoenix City Council. Today I want to discuss the critical need to enhance firefighting services, which directly impacts our community's safety. Our city faces significant financial constraints, partly due to state laws that have reduced our operating budget at no fault of city council, the city manager, or our mayor. For instance, the recent elimination of the rental tax in 2025 has removed a vital revenue stream, saving renters money, but straining city funds. I would argue this loss affects necessary funding for services like firefighting and emergency medical services, highlighting the complex balance between state policies and local needs. This funding shortfall has led to longer response times, now averaging around 9 minutes compared to the national standard of just over 5. With our population growing exponentially, the demand on firefighters has surged, making it harder to respond promptly to emergencies like house fires, heart attacks, drownings, technical safety responses like mountain rescues, and hazardous material calls. To address this, we desperately need to build more fire stations, buy new equipment, and hire additional firefighters. A positive step in this is the recent opening of Fire Station 62 in February 2025, which aims to reduce response times in the West Valley. However, more is needed. Increased call volume has taken a massive toll not only on physical health but mental health as well. We have more firefighters than ever seeking outside counseling, and the number of critical incidents has also increased rampantly. The effect on physical and mental health has had on our members has been absolutely brutal and cannot be understated. There are 4 stations slated to be built with the GEO-bond money over the next 5 years. However, 3 are rebuilds of existing stations that do not have the capacity to maintain their current call volumes. These are not new stations to cover new growth. I respectfully urge you to support the TPT to fund the essential improvements. It's about ensuring every resident can count on swift emergency response when it matters most. Thank you very much.
Thank you. After Ginny Ann, William Garbett.
Good morning. The 24 Park Ranger phone number that has provided a valuable tool to our neighborhoods. Thank you to the mayor, city council, and Parks Director Aguilar. Because yelling "slow down, stupid-head" has not worked in my neighborhood to slow traffic, this weekend I tried gestures, slow down. That didn't work either. The fact is Phoenix needs more. Phoenix has 4,800 miles of streets and only 34 motorcycle officers. We need more motorcycle officers. It would be helpful if someone from streets would agree to meet with us in the neighborhood. I realize I'm showing my age, but sometimes an in-person meeting is much more, has the advantages over just an email exchange. I appreciate the work at Cactus Park Precinct, but I'm jealous, and I want some of the same crime suppression opportunities in Mountain View, like the real-time operations center and the periodic focus of our motorcycle officers. In 2024, Graffiti Busters program used close to 10,000 gallons of paint and painted over more than 48,500 graffiti sites. We can't afford not to fund Graffiti Busters in the volunteer program, and they do phenomenal work. But graffiti hurts 24/7, 12 months a year, and the problem needs more than just a one-month focus in February. I'm always impressed with the healthy giving meetings that I attend with the support of the City of Phoenix and all the valuable nonprofits. Unfortunately, so much effort is done in isolation with one group not knowing about the other group's services to coordinate referrals. I support either NSD or OHS, website listing the organization's name, contact info, and 2 or 3 sentences about the services provided so everyone has access to it. Community Bridges has been funded since 2017, and yet there still is a problem with CBI finding the reported locations. I support expanding the efforts of NSD's Phoenix Cares neighborhood specialists and OHS liaison Pam Jones. They know the area and they can respond. My question is, how do I find out about the SEPTED changes to our bus stops in Alliance? On behalf of the 44th Community Alliance, thanks Mayor Gallego, Councilman Robinson, City Manager's Office, Parks and Recreation Director Aguilar, NSD Director Self, OHS Director Milne, Police and Fire. You've supported our neighborhoods. We really appreciate it and look forward to another great year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny Ann. After William, David Bickford.
I'm William Garbett, been around for a while. First driver's license here, been voting in District 6 or what the preceding numbers through many years. So I'd like to go and just bring up one thing. Recently, you had a transportation tax that was imputing that you would not have any more taxes if you voted for that. Well, we have a new tax that's wanting to come for the developers. It's going to hit the developers. It isn't going to have the impact on the developers. They just pass the costs around. What happens is there will be no new homes that people can buy in Phoenix with that additional tax. Because you have the development tax going to areas that the semiconductor plants are in, how come you can't swirl off some of that development fees for them for housing or development of the streets and avenues in the area where the plants are located so the employees can come and go even though they may be homeless on the street here? What happens is we have a resource here that's already paid for in Phoenix. It's called the public schools. One of the things you have to look at is what we call sunk cost. A sunk cost is something where you've already paid for it. What happens is the closure of many schools, since it's been paid for by the taxpayers, should be a valuable resource for housing in Phoenix. All you have to do is do a line item transfer, title office, from the school districts to the city, and they won't be burdened with vacant buildings and crowds and so forth, and it will add to the housing base with no cost, effectively. This is one of the things is you have to use your own resources. And I hope you get that in mind, that this is a natural resource that can avoid another tax that isn't needed. Thank you.
Thank you. After David, Jay Plummer.
Mayor Gallego, Councilman Robinson, Ms. Erickson, Ms. Williamson, thank you for being here and listening to constituent concerns. I want to begin by celebrating a small victory, and that is the announcement that when the South Central Light Rail Line begins operations on June 7th, we'll see our headways between trains go from 15 minutes to 12 minutes. That is a small step forward. I urge you to, in future years, maintain that momentum, work with our partner cities, Tempe and Mesa, Valley Metro, to bring that down to 10 minutes, which was the service frequency we had when light rail service started back in 2008. That should be a high priority, but thank you for the progress so far. Looking at other issues of transportation, focusing on active transportation, bicycling, and pedestrian infrastructure. Phoenix has the unfortunate distinction of being a leader in bicyclist and pedestrian deaths, and we're not moving rapidly enough to address that. I urge the city to make it a high priority to conduct a nationwide search for a visionary and transformative leader of the Streets Transportation Department. This department is vital to our city's future, and we cannot let entrenched staff and interim leadership maintain the status quo. Spend what it takes to get the best possible leader there. In terms of specific projects, I wish to voice my support for the proposed 3rd Street bike route through downtown. And as a District 6 resident, I want to see a priority on the proposed 20th Street bike lanes that would connect from Oak Street up to Glendale Avenue. Finally, I also would like to see progress made on the Arizona Canal Path. Currently, Scottsdale has a beautiful path east of 60th Street, but west of 60th Street through Arcadia and Biltmore, it is unpaved, unlit, and has unsignaled crossings at several arterial streets. That needs attention, particularly as the Salt River Project is not maintaining some of its previous maintenance roads. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. After Jay, Karen Klein.
I'm Jay Plummer. I live here in District 6. I ride bike through the area quite frequently. I just want to build on some of what David said in terms of safety. This area is so congested because of the schools. We're not properly developing the bike lanes that go along the bike routes that make it even more confusing for the people that are trying to transport through this area. Like if you're out here on highway, or out on 28th Street, the congestion from the schools, the lack of bike lanes, make the whole thing, which should be a bike route, very dangerous at school start and closing. I'd like to see some more bike lanes developed throughout District 6 using the existing bike routes. Thank you.
Thank you. After Karen, Richie Robnett.
Good morning, and I appreciate the efforts of the City of Phoenix that they bring the budget to the public. It's not done in every municipality or every branch of government, and I really appreciate the city's efforts to do that. When I was reviewing the handout today, I got a little confused because many of my cohorts who are part of the senior programs here have heard we're getting major cuts. However, when I look on the at the budget for human services, I don't see that. So I think the problem must be within allocation of the resources. And so I'm here to speak on behalf of the seniors who participate in these programs. They're lifesavers to many. And I really strongly encourage that the cuts to the seniors not happen. I understand the need for, and I commend the resources to the homeless, but I really encourage that not to happen to senior services. And I'd also I was a little surprised at the $2 million cut in parks. And again, I think we need accountability with what we have. I can make sure, if you take a look at this park, I encourage you to do that, and the landscaping around this facility before you leave, it's not equal to what you'll see at other parks and other districts. And so I hope that accountability for employees is put in place so that the resources we have are used to the best of our abilities. Thank you.
Thank you. After Richie, the final speaker is Bill Scheel. I do want to note, though, there are several cards of people not wanting to speak, but many of the comments are about fire resources.
All right, thank you guys. My name is Richie Robnett. I'm a captain with the Phoenix Fire Department. Been on the job for a little bit over 12 years now. But I'm also a citizen here in the city of Phoenix. I have been a person who's had to activate the 911 system for a loved one. And what we've come to find out was time was the biggest critical factor that saved my father's life. And because of that, that's what really inspired me to become a firefighter. And that is a debt that I feel that I'll never be able to repay. I've been on the job for, like I said, over 12 years now, have many more years to go. And there's no amount of years, there's no amount of calls that I can run that's going to repay that debt. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I take a lot of pride in my job, just as the men and women that we work with take a lot of pride in their job. So you guys have already heard about our response times, gone from 4 minutes and 20 seconds to 9 minutes. That really challenges our ability to be effective on these calls, to save somebody's life, to save your property, to save your businesses. Okay, we need your help. We need more fire stations. We need more firefighters. We need more trucks. The city of Phoenix has grown about 300,000 people since 2015, which has increased our call volume. Okay, our call volume has increased about 54% because of that. What does that mean? That means that 25% of the time that people call for 911 emergencies, the truck that's closest to your area will not be able to respond because they're already on a call. That's also due to 65% of our apparatus that is past its replacement age. So we're having truck failures where now we're having some type of malfunction to where we have to special call another unit just to get to you. When we get on a fire, sometimes we can't pump water through that truck. We're not asking for these resources because we think we're special. We're not asking for these resources because we think we're the best or we think that we're important. We think that you guys are important, but we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Bill Scheel is our final speaker.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman Robinson, for this opportunity to speak. I'm representing the Roosevelt neighborhood this morning, which straddles Hance Park in downtown Phoenix. This park should be a civic jewel hosting Super Bowl events, cultural festivals, and it serves as the neighborhood park for our very diverse mixed income neighborhood. But we have a chronic and ongoing crisis of crime, drug use, and vagrancy at the park and in the surrounding neighborhood. For instance, one morning last week, we counted 57 individuals who were using the park as their living space. Our downtown tourism professionals can no longer recommend that our out-of-town visitors visit Hance Park when they come to town because of the deteriorating conditions there. We're asking for two things. First, a dedicated park ranger for Hance Park. Currently, all we get is episodic drop-bys from the park rangers, which means the rangers can't keep an eye on chronic violators. And secondly, we need more consistent and aggressive enforcement of the existing rules and regulations. Because of these episodic drop-bys, for instance, of all of the violations and the chronic problems we have, only 16 tickets were written last month. And that's just not acceptable. We need a zero tolerance policy at rules violations at Hance Park. We'd appreciate all your help and support, and we appreciate the good work that has been done by Human Services, the police department, library staff related to the cooling center last summer, and we fully support more services in those areas as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to turn it back to the mayor and the councilman for any final comments.
Thank you, Inger. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you. as both the mayor and I stated at the beginning of this process, what you say matters. It really does. We have staff that takes notes on things. We take notes. We hear you. And it's critically important to us to understand what is important to you. So we thank you for your time this morning. And if the mayor had any final thoughts or comments?
Echo the councilman. Thank you to everyone who provided input. We have a lot of the leaders of the city here today, some of whom can already get to work on some of the issues mentioned here today, and many of which we think the current budget will really help address. So thank you again for the gift of your time.
All right, that concludes the hearing today. Thank you again for participating, and this concludes the hearing. Thank you.